What's up, y'all, and welcome to What She Said Conversations with Dannaya. Happy New Year! It's 2024. I'm so excited and looking forward to amazing, great, beautiful, just abundant things, all the things in 2024 and beyond. Obviously, I have some new things cooking up, and we'll get to that soon. So, this episode is titled Lost and Found Black Women Reignited. You know, it's not fair. Black women in America, a lot of us have been headless, literally, for a really long time. We have been having to feel our way back to ourselves, like a chicken with its head cut off, feeling the environment, feeling it all to find ourselves, find our way back. And then when you find your way back, you realize those who have been abusing their power, deceptive in their power, manipulative in their power, kind of arrogant in their power, kind of sucking their teeth and turning their nose up in their power. Like, baby, you don't know what it took. You don't know what it took to get here. You're not even understanding our nature completely. Like, we were at the lowest level of consciousness being ripped from our nature, especially the feelers. The knowers is easier to grasp. It's easier to find yourself, especially when you have these religious institutions who were planted in our communities in America, and there was no divinity in women. You think about God, you think about a Father, you think about Jesus Christ, you think about a man, you think about Holy Spirit, and like it's subconsciously and psychologically manipulative and deceptive. And here we are trying to find our way back, trying to feel our way back. And when we find ourselves, we're like, oh, you trifling. You know what I'm saying? Here I am in the dark and you using and abusing. But then you got those ones who operate honorably and you be like, you know what? I like that. So I'm going to give you everything that I got, baby. You get what I'm saying? I'm about to give it all to you because you had the opportunity to operate manipulatively. You had the opportunity to operate deceptively. You had the opportunity to take advantage of certain things, the lack of consciousness, and you didn't. And I love that. So you can have whatever you like, like Tia said. So this episode is titled Lost and Found, Black Woman Reignited. And this episode is obviously really near and dear to my heart because it's the truth, okay? So I was somewhere recently and they were talking about like just being good energy, and it kind of offended me because I'm like, why do you want to limit me to being good energy when I am real energy, when I am true energy, when I am, like a full and complete being. I'm not just good. Like, you wouldn't want yourself to be just good. That's not real. You get what I'm saying? And so I had to kind of process that, and I just rather be true. Regardless of all of that, I just rather be true. I think trying to be good is what caused me a lot of suffering in previous parts of my life. Trying to be a good girl, trying to be a good wife, trying to be a good employee, trying to be a good. I just rather be real. I trust myself. I've built the capacity enough to trust myself now, where I don't have to try to be good, but you can count on me to be real, to be true, and to have the purest intentions in that. Pure, yes. Good, I'm not always gonna be that. Don't expect that from me. You get what I'm saying? Don't expect just good from me. Expect pure and expect real. That's it. That's the only thing that you can really hold me to. So yeah, Black Women Reignited. It means a lot to me because I feel like for a long time I had lost that kind of vitality. I had lost the fullness of who I was, and it was a lot of times me trying to be good, even when I had something to say, even when I knew something, because I didn't want to cause any chaos, because I didn't want to cause any conflict. I stayed silent, and I was suffering literally in my spirit, in my heart, just in my body, and I just don't. I don't subscribe to that any longer. Black women in America, especially. I mean, it's resurfacing, and I'm thankful for it. But from my experience and from my observation, a lot of women have lost their head, right? And when I say lost their head, they weren't tuned into who they were completely. And a lot of that I blame on religion, and I'm just being real. A lot of that I blame on the religious institutions, especially in America. When I went to Africa, it was life changing. I'm already planning to get back over there and to bring my son and like a group trip with me for next time. But when I went there, I realized that a lot of times women are seen as a resource. They're seen as something to somebody to do. And there was just a rich energy of just being, right? Of just allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to restore yourself, allowing yourself to feed your environment. And that in itself is womanhood, the motherland, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, but then when I look around, I realize that's who I've been all along, but in my mind, psychologically, because I had been taught that a woman does this and she does that, like, stop it. You know what I mean? Like, stop the cap. And being able to have the full awareness and consciousness of who I am, having that full self-awareness, it really changes things. And like I said, religious institutions in America, how they have framed it, you don't even see yourself in divinity, right? I was raised Baptist. All I knew was God as a father. All I knew was Jesus Christ as a white man. But at least he was a man, you know what I'm saying? These men had some sort of resonance. We were just nothing, barely. Just barely. You get what I'm saying? I don't like that. I think it's deceptive and it's manipulative to women to operate that way. Especially when you look around and see like I'm putting all this shit together. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving all this shit forward. It's my influence. It's my truth. It's my energy. It's me who's moving this forward. You are looking to me to be a guide. So don't diminish or think that I'm going to diminish who I am because I'm not just here for you. And when I say you, I'm talking about partners, I'm talking about employers, I'm talking about consumers, I'm talking about family, friends, environments, experiences. I'm not just here for you. I'm here for a mission that is being moved forward. So don't expect me to submit if there's no mission. Submission is I'm coming up under a mission. I'm not just coming up under you. You're not ruling me, baby. We moving stuff. There's a vision. There's a mission here. I'm here for that. I'm here with you, but I'm here for that. So don't even try to play with me like that. Like I'm not going for it. And so there was a little bit of like resentment. Like don't even play with me. Don't try to put me under anything. I'm not going under nothing. I will remain soft and receptive so that I can remain sensitive to the signals of our environment, of our exchanges, of everything that's going around me. But it's not just to be modest and mild and have no voice. That's not, if that's the expectation, just don't even come around. You get what I'm saying? And so, yeah. Another topic I wanted to touch on is the mother, the black mother, right? We talk a lot in the African American community about the absent father, but we don't talk in the handicap that it causes, the pain, the void that it causes, especially in the black community. We all know about it, whether it's, these different systemic issues, whether it's, whatever it is. We talk a lot about it, but we don't talk about the pain and the burden of the present mother. So I was talking to a couple of my friends within the last couple of months, and it was some guy friends too, and they were talking about how they have realized in their romantic life how they haven't been able to settle down is because even though their mother was present, they loved their mother. She's like very raw, just very real. There's a certain immaturity, right? And so that relationship has kind of projected itself in their romantic relationship, so they haven't found the way to mature into real committed relationships. They still, you know, womanizers, like dealing with multiple women, they don't know that level of uh, womanhood to kind of rise to. You get what I'm saying? Now, on the other hand, we have some who feel like the mother was trying to do the right thing too much, and she allowed herself to be treated like a doormat, to be used, to be, just disrespected. They might have been a rolling stone back and forth. And as a child, they saw their mother and they saw the beauty and the love and just goodness in her. So there was a resentment that was building because they're like, why are you sitting there letting this happen to you? And so there's the savior complex. So now they deal with women who they feel like they need to save because they innately wanted to save their mother from that pain and those burdens, but they still also have that resentment, like, tighten up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sitting there clutching your pearls, you acting like you don't know what real is, you soft, you ain't saying what you want to say, you're not doing what you want to do, you're not being who you want to be, like, tighten up. You get what I'm saying? And these are all things that have kind of surfaced within the last few years because here they are looking to find relationships and, you know, they might have been raised well and gentlemen, but they are disconnected from that kind of primal and raw part of them. And then on the other side, the raw and real children, people raised by those type of mothers, they are missing the more polished and refined part of them. And that's the fullness of a woman. And being disconnected from the fullness of your nature is a recipe for disaster. That's something that I truly, truly believe. Um, and then, oh yeah, there was another thing is, and this came from the same man who was raised well, and his mother was, a really good mother, kept him in line, made sure he went on to college, all of that, is that he had a resentment of why did you choose this man? You feel what I'm saying? Like he's absent. Why did you choose to have a baby with this man? Because now I'm lacking. I don't have my father because you chose this type of man. And I think I get it. You feel what I'm saying? But then on the other hand, it's like what was the driver? Because what was she getting from him? Or what was the attraction to him that she wasn't getting? That caused her to operate in that space. And I think a lot of times what we don't realize is that because women have for so long, in America especially, this is my experience, I don't know, this is my experience, my observation, because, she didn't know the fullness of who she was, what was her impulse. She was operating, women, we've been operating at such a low and kind of impulsive, especially emotionally driven women, we have been operating from a low and kind of slow beat, consciously. And if it was love that drove her, you can't resent her because even she saw something in him, even if it was just you. You get what I'm saying? And I can say that from my own experience. People ask me like, why did you, deal with this type of person? It's so beautiful. And so it was always love that was my driver. You know what I mean? Even at the most less level of consciousness, it was love that was my driver. It wasn't money. It wasn't none of that. So I don't care about none of that. It was love that was my driver. It was love that attracted me to him. Now that I'm leveled up, it's like, and it's still my driver. So you have to trust that even at the lowest point, the driver was genuine, the driver was true, the driver was love, even if it meant just bringing you here and giving you the opportunity to experience this world and contribute your greatness, your brilliance, whatever it is that is greatness, even if she had to draw it out just sexually. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality, like keeping it real. Because things change and everything has its seasons and its moments. And when I look at my own child, it's like I dealt with that to bring you here, your greatness, your brilliance, because I see it, right? And I saw it, and even if they weren't operating in the fullness of it, it was my mission as someone driven by love to continue moving and pushing this forward. So, absent father, present mother. It's a big deal, and I don't only want to put it on men because women also experience it, but it's different because it's how you are operating in your emotional space, right? So this is something And quite honestly, a lot of women around me, we've talked about this over the last like year or two. Just dealing with those different insecurities as a woman, dealing with those different kind of voids as women and being able to trace it back to different experiences we had in observing our mother. Because obviously, as a woman, if your mother is in your life, the first person that you look to be a woman to, kind of feel out your womanhood is your mother. But as you get older and you realize, like, this ain't working for me, or this is not good, or you just, kind of have different experiences, you can come back and be like, damn, we was lacking. This ain't how it's supposed to be. Like, why did you deal with this? Why is this happening? Why are you so fearful? And now you have to, as generational curse breakers, figure out, you have to kind of chart a new path because you're like, this is not working. This is not helping me to evolve. You look at your children, you're like, this is not helping them to evolve. This is not what I like. And this is not something I want to take with us into the future. And as a forward thinker, I'm always very mindful of, kind of patterns and cycles and, kind of releasing any fear or anything that is going to keep me bound to anything that's not serving me. And so, yeah, like I said, within the last couple of years, within myself, within my different spaces, I've heard so many stories about women who were dealing with their own kind of mother issues, whether it was, like I said, being rooted in fear, whether it was just not being, polished and refined enough to operate in commitment, how to manage your home, how to, be confident and secure in who you are, how to move from operating in someone who is a user or uses people for your benefit. Because I feel like if you're using somebody, you don't know the fullness of your value, right? So thankfully, that's not my experience, but I have heard that story from women like, oh yeah, as long as I got this, I should never be broke. Like, come on now. That ain't the fullness of who you are. If you know that you are a divine being, why would you, treat yourself like that? That has to be something that is learned, something that influences you, that was influenced to you. And, just being mindful, like, do you really want to operate that way? Is that really how you see yourself? You are intelligent, you are creative, you are thoughtful, you are loving, you are um, sensitive, you are funny. You know what I mean? You are resourceful. Don't diminish yourself to that because that's what you've been taught. But as you know better, you do better. So many different faces of this issue in the Black community for men and women, right? It's not just men. That's my observation as I'm navigating different experiences within as I'm going, within myself, because it's all reflection, right? I'm like, okay, boom, 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 because you have to clear it out. You have to find the codes and you got to clear it out. So now I'm like, okay, how do I change this? How do I move this into something productive and beautiful and new? And that's just pretty much what it is. So, like I said, absent father, but present mother, there is a healing, there is a wound there also, and I think it's important to address it in our community, just in general. I tell my son all the time, like, hey, I, your father and I, we loved each other, and I brought the best out, and now we're gonna keep moving and operating um, and fulfilling our spaces moving forward. And sometimes it does hurt. I'm not gonna hold you. Sometimes it does hurt to know that was the path, but I do see the purpose, and so I can't be too sad. But I can be real. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm human. But it is what it is. And one thing about it, I will never sever myself from the mission of love. I will never sever myself from the mission of love. That's who I am. That's who I've been. Even when I didn't know that's who I was, I knew. You get what I'm saying? And so, you move on from that, and opportunities present themselves, and you close doors, and new opportunities and new awareness presents itself. So yeah, what I was saying is that even at the lowest level of their heartbeat, at almost dead in consciousness, knowing that your mother, your family has been consistently choosing love, not material, not money, not strategy and opportunist, you know, ways, but love has always been a driver. That's real. You know what I mean? So I'm with it. But there's a certain measure of forgiveness that has to happen. Me personally, I am 100% grateful for my mother. I know that she moves by love. She's so protective. She's so thoughtful. She's just clean and clear and polished. I love that. So there was an internal forgiveness that I had to have because I got to think she only knew what she knew based on her past and her own experience. And I think that is important in the Black community, forgiveness, not just for the parent issues, the father wound, but for the mother wound to, kind of restore the harmony between men and women, period. Now, obviously, this is also something that we can see is happening. But there's a sensitivity there, there's an apprehension there, and I think, you know, a man can never feel the fullness of a woman's role, period. It's just by design, it can't happen. Just like a woman can never feel the fullness of a man's role. By design, it just can't happen. If you made it to this earth as a man, if you made it to this earth as a woman, you will not be able to feel the role, period. No, synthetic means will allow you to feel that role. And so now it's about, are we able to come together and realize that we have a history of hurt, we have a history of pain, we have a history of, just different things, but we were made to come together collectively. There are, and this is not even just like romantically, that's just a secondary benefit, but we have each other's keys. You get what I'm saying? We have each other's keys, and you can't allow pain or ignorance or pride or ego to get in the way, because not only are you doing yourself a disservice, you're doing your community a disservice, you're doing your environment, your children a disservice, because we have each other's keys to unlock different things. And sitting down and just having those real, honest conversations, it's a big deal. It's a real thing. And it takes time to restore that harmony and trust and kind of resonance with each other, but it's needed. It's a requirement. It's a big deal. You feel what I'm saying? And this is the time for it, because women especially, I've realized that we are tuning into ourselves spiritually, and that's a key. You feel what I'm saying? That is a key. Intuition, just being able to read the room. You get what I'm saying? Being able to see clearly, that is a key. And for men, being able to physically be more of a protector, being able to provide space for us to navigate this earthly and human experience together, that's a key. And they go together. You know what I mean? And so that's something that's really important to me. And it's not even just romantic. Like, I have friends who are males and they come to me about different situations because and even if they have tried to be romantic with me, I just realized that that's not the case. But, just to be healthy, to help you in those dark moments, to help you in those confusing moments, to bring clarity to your life, to bring truth and awareness to your life in order for you to elevate it and find your purpose, find your field, find your path. That's what we're here for. Even other people's children, my friends, a lot of people come to me when they have these different situations, and I don't mind, because I realize that I am a clear channel for, truth and for understanding and for helping people to navigate, their different experiences. So use your gifts and use them well. You know what I mean? Don't use them for material gain. Use your gifts for good. Use your gifts for good. So yeah, I just, it's my hope that the collective, especially in this community, because I think a lot of times we want to connect, and that's something that's happening too, but here we have different issues than the continent of Africa, the black people in the continent. Our issues are different. And so we have to work on our issues here, and we also have to reach out our hands and work out those issues or those, confusion or conflicts, whether conscious or subconscious, between those on the continent. It's a big deal if we want to see the future and envision the future as we really see it, as pure, as productive, as full, and as operating well. So yeah, that's something that's really important to me. And with women especially, just being the big dog that you are. Like, don't dim yourself. You don't have to be masculine or aggressive to be real, to be strong, to be powerful. You know what I mean? Just be real. That's the strongest way that you can be a woman, being honest. Don't suppress your voice. People think that suffering is an honor. It's not real. You have to be real. Suffering is suppressing. If you know something, if you hear something, if you know something's not right, if you know something is right, if you're excited about something, if you're, disappointed about something, express it. Because that is operating in the fullness of who you are, not suffering and holding it all in, and then we wonder why, so many women especially are dealing with, breast cancer. That's the heart space is congested, is being suppressed, it's being pushed in. Express yourself, be who you are, be real, because it's all for the benefit and the sustaining of our communities, of our families, of our environment. So that's something that's really important to me. And then just being okay with the fullness of who you are. So we talk about duality. There is no duality in full, right? I am a sexual being. I'm very sensual. I am just naturally, that's just who I am. I also am a very spiritual person. Just naturally, that's who I am. And sometimes in spiritual spaces, they want to disconnect you from their sexuality. And then when you say, no, I don't want to disconnect from that, then you are banned from spirituality. That's not real. That's not real. Sexuality is creating energy. Like, why would I want to disconnect from that? That doesn't make any sense. You want to disconnect me from my essence. You want to disconnect me from the fullness of who I am. It all runs together, right? Obviously, you have to fine-tune yourself so that you are operating true and authentically and expressing yourself completely. But there is no duality in whole, right? It all runs together. It all runs along the same road. And once we become aware of that and we accept that, then you don't have to try to be less. There's chaos in creativity. I felt some type of way a couple weeks ago because I'm like, what is going on here? And I was like, oh my God, I feel crazy. But then I was like, actually I don't, because I'm just going to go ahead and say what I got to say and move on, because that was real. That was the truth. I wasn't feeling it. And I try not to be wild, but sometimes I am. And I'm okay with that, because it's a part of expressing your truth. It's a part of art. It's a part of life. It's a part of health. And, sometimes you gotta shake things up, because you're like, I'm about to take this mask off. You get what I'm saying? I'm not always polished and refined. Sometimes I gotta say, like, nah, we're not, no. You know what's up. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Find yourself. Black women in America, we have been so disconnected from who we are. It disgusts me. It's like a chicken with its head cut off. We've been running around trying to find ourselves, find our way. But you gotta honor those who has allowed love from the bottom to the top to be the driver. You have to honor that, because once you find your fullness, once you find your head, you're like, oh, okay, I've been real. You know what I'm saying? I've been with it. I'm good. You know what I mean? And I love that. I don't know, I enjoy it. So, yeah. This is What She Said, Conversations with She Dannaya. The title of this episode is Lost and Found, Black Woman Reignited. Don't be afraid of being yourself in your fullness, being real, and recognizing that it's in your truth that you are operating on in your mission, in your purpose, and striving to move things forward, not only for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your relationships, for your community, for your environment, but for the collective, period. So that's all I wanted to say today. I will see y'all next time. Again, Happy New Year. Cheers. This is the blonde vanilla latte with an extra shot of blonde espresso. I needed it today. Well, I didn't need it, but I wanted it today to give me a little pet. But yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you save this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Put it in your collection because at the end of the day, you might need to revisit this. Come back to it, you revisit it. You might get something that you didn't get the first time just based on what you've experienced, in your present moment. So, what she said, Conversations with Dannaya, Lost and Found Black Woman Reignited. Don't try to limit me to good energy. I am pure, but I am full. So if it's good, if it's bad, if it's sexual, if it's spiritual, if it is vibrant and exciting, if it's reflective and insightful, I am who I am, and that's it.